Hey everyone, sorry to rush this one out, but I thought it was important. Most of you probably already know that Richard Dawkins has now alerted people to his having a stroke last weekend. He's okay, back home already, and apparently recovering really well. He actually made an audio recording talking about the incident, which you should probably listen to first before continuing here. But the good news is he sounds great, okay? I'm going to put the link to the audio in the description below. Check that out. What most of you probably do not know is that I, too, would like to publicly confess to having a stroke the other night. I guess Richard has decided to come clean about this kind of thing as kind of like a new out campaign, I guess, perhaps to reduce the stigma and the public shaming of it. I think that's beautiful, okay? I've never felt like there was anything wrong with it whatsoever. And, I just want to be supportive, so here I am. It appears that Richard and I had a very similar experience. I did not lose consciousness, although I did experience some just lightheadedness after a prolonged period of building tension. I also had a little soreness in my elbow. I didn't fall like he did, but still a little sore, and some numbness. Although I'm getting older, so that's probably just a little bit of arthritis. I also, like Richard, experienced this stroke primarily on one half of my body. I'm told that's fairly common also, and I'm also told that if you're going to have a stroke, this really is the best kind to have. Well, Richard thinks that his stroke may have been brought on by the recent controversy. By the way, Richard, that's the way to pronounce that, controversy. My stroke, I must confess, was the result of unbridled boredom and a sidebar ad on a website for Victoria's Secret. It's hard to get past that kind of thing. Richard apparently spent 4 days in hospital after his stroke. I was not hospitalized, nor have I ever achieved that level of success. Kudos, Richard. But I did have to run to store the very next morning as I suddenly found myself to be entirely without tissues. He is also having a problem with buttons, I guess. That's difficult. The manual dexterity is a bit tough. That's ironic, I think, because I years ago had a problem with a zipper, which inspired a scene in the 1998 comedy, the smash comedy, There's Something About Mary, for which I was never rightly credited or compensated, by the way. Not cool. But that whole thing inspired me to go with the button fly back in, I want to say, 87. I'm still extremely proficient at that. I can get those buttons open in a second if I need to. If I had problems with buttons, I would have simply called the Church of England, as they seem to know exactly what buttons to push. Strangely, the church has made no public comment about my stroke, even though one of their leaders, Cardinal Sin, was clearly involved. I'm not going to say how, but trust me. Now, a lot of religious people I'm hearing and I'm reading, on the web, they're experiencing a little schadenfreude, I think that's how you say that, over the incident, as though Richard's stroke was, some kind of money shot across the bow. Like it was God's way of saying, back off, dick. But to me, that's the perfect example of where religious people are constantly trying to find the hand of God, no pun intended, the blinding watchmaker, if you will, when the incident clearly has the fingerprints and perhaps even the mugshot of a completely natural clockmaker. If you can even call him that. I mean, what did he really do? He just reassembled something. He took it apart, put it back together. Now, I can't prove this kid had anything to do with it, but it's going to be interesting as things go on. We'll see. Now, Richard and I don't have a lot in common. He's British. I'm not. He's an old white guy with gray hair. I'm clearly not that. I can act. And I'm universally loved because I don't use my Twitter account to broadcast to the entire world every stupid fucking thought I have the moment I have it. Okay, but Richard, I want you to know that there are still a lot of us out here who love you like crazy. I have personally spoken to the other 5 people who feel this way. What? I'm sorry? Did he tweet again? He did. Okay. I have personally spoken to the other 3 people who feel this way, and they have all asked me to wish you all the best in your recovery. We really can't afford another horse without a rider. We just can't. We can't do it, Richard. So take care of yourself and know that the three, or is it four? It would be four because I'm including myself. We're all praying on you, for you. We're praying for you. And we really love you. We really do. And we want you to get well. So you take care of you. Now, I thought that I would end this with I'd like to read a passage from my mother's journal from 1977 regarding my very first stroke. Last night, we heard strange noises coming from Brian's room. As Brian had never been an asthmatic, the heavy breathing was of great concern, and Charles said that I should go in